Hello, and welcome to another episode of TheeDigital's Growthcast, the podcast where we explore web design, digital marketing, business growth strategies that help brands stand out online. I'm Shyanna Kelly. I'm the marketing communications manager here at TheeDigital, a digital agency that helps law firms and all types of professional service brands grow through smarter design and marketing. So, in today's episode, we're diving into how modern law firms are building credibility, authority, and client confidence through their online presence and how that trust actually translates into real leads. So, joining me today, we have Greyson Fesperman. She's our digital sales director here at TheeDigital. And we,
Hello.
hi, Grayson. And we also have Lauren Clay, our marketing director here at TheeDigital. Grayson,
Hello,
right?
everyone.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So I guess we'll just get started with what digital trust means for law firms. And my first kind of question going along with that is when potential clients are landing on a law firm site, what signals help them kind of decide if this law firm feels credible or not, and whether they should kind of take that next step in, reaching out or considering them for business?
Sure. So, really, potential clients are going to decide within the first few seconds whether they're going to pursue the website further, look into more services, or call or submit a contact form. Some of those key signals and basics ones initially is does the site have like the security in place? Does it even load? Is it clean and professional? So just some of those basics need to be checked off right away. And then they're going to be looking at other images of attorneys, reviews, any case results. So they're going to be some like initial things that they're going to see on the home, if they see them or not on the homepage, which are definitely going to help them decide if the law firm feels credible or not. On the flip side, some other things that are gonna put people off. Stock photos is a big one that we see quite often. So many websites out there, so if it's not personalized, people are gonna move on. If there's outdated information, not enough information, pop-ups, these big pop-ups, when they keep popping up too, can be off-putting and quite spammy, and again, people just don't want to deal with that either. So, especially with legal service, potential clients just really want to feel like they're gonna speak with real lawyers, real
Mm,
people that have worked with cases similar to theirs, and yes, you get that, like, initial trust factor straight away.
right. Um, liked how you touched on some of the things that also repel them. So going along with that, how do you think kind of this concept of trust has shifted as things have become more digital, more online for law firms, especially in these types of high stakes services like legal representation?
Do you wanna kick this one off, Grayson? I feel like it'd be interesting to hear how, when you're talking to prospects, like lawyers, how they feel. That's
Yeah, I can kick this one off. So, yeah, oftentimes, and again, my role is, meeting and collaborating with, attorneys who are really wanting to, ultimately build their law firm's trust and brand authority online, or essentially turn their digital presence into a 24/7 case management lead magnet tool for their firm, right? So oftentimes, the biggest questions are, the concept of trust there is will it work, right? How is AI being implemented to all of that? For us, even on the copywriting, professional legal copywriting side of things, there's different types of levels of privacy and kind of restrictions there. So a lot of the times, attorneys are often struggling or worried about how the advancement of technology is going to affect their law office and if they can honestly keep up.
yeah. Yeah, that's true, and I feel like, a lot of law firms that have been in business for years and years, and they have, new competition popping up, and, I feel like one of the things that we hear often is, "We've been in this area for 20 years, and, we do a search for our main service, like, wills and trusts, for instance, and you have this new law firm that's popping up ahead of us. Like, why is this happening? We've been in business so much longer. And we get that concern so often. And, it's not always about how long your office doors have been open. Sadly, it's about how you build that presence online on multiple different avenues and platforms. Back in the day, law firms were built on referrals only, personal referrals, and their reputation in that immediate area. While law firms still rely on referrals, most people, even if they get a referral, are going to turn around and do their own search, because in seconds they're going to see if they have good reviews, if they've done similar cases. So they're going to get that information and verify it themselves. And most people now verify that information. So that's definitely quite a shift. Some lawyers often still use billboards, but again, they may not call directly from the billboard. They're going to go to the website or do their own research and make their own decision. So now having that social proof, review proof, content proof on the website, on various platforms is going to be key for law firms to succeed.
Yeah, and just to jump on that, to Lauren's point, law firms that have been in business for 10, 20 plus years that have built the word of mouth referrals. Now, with everything that is growing with the technology and the advancements and all of that, now more of those attorneys are reaching out to us and having to kind of start at the beginning space of understanding why their website is a tool for their business and no longer just a business card that they would pass around for referrals. So law firms that, have maybe only been in business a few years, that have been working for improving the content, building local brand and trust and all of that, they're actually a little bit further along on their digital plan than, a law firm that has been in kind of starting at the beginning. So it's just really important to always ask questions and be aware of how the digital environment is changing. And just like in any role, we have to adapt.
Yeah, I think that kind of flows well into this next question because we did kind of talk on design and messaging, but as far as like SEO, how does that kind of play a role in maybe shaping that first impression or like you guys were talking about also even getting you found over a company that may have been around over 20 years or something like that?
Yeah, so when we're initially talking with someone that's interested in starting SEO or redoing their websites, the first thing that we're going to look at is that first impression of the website. And from the design aspect, we're looking at what can you initially see on that above the fold, we would call it. Are you getting enough information in that first picture that you see? So we always have a hero section, we call it. It's usually got an image of the attorneys, or sometimes it's a video of the attorneys, the office. So having a good hero section with a clear headline of maybe the type of services that they specialize in, maybe the location that they focus on, and then also the call to action make sure we include there as well. If you call for a free consultation or submit a contact form, that's definitely a key thing that we like to see in the top section of the website, and making sure that it works and flows well on mobile as well, and as well as desktop. So there's some of the kind of design aspects of the website that we want to make sure look right. Even the logo, is it updated? Is it high resolution? And the color scheme, is it look professional, and just that first feel that you get. Other things that we also look at making sure the website includes is trust badges. They're like bar associations, if they're on Justia, if they're on any sort of like site, like lawyer citation website, and those featured on the homepage. Or sometimes there are awards like Best Lawyer in Atlanta 2025. So having anything that adds to the credibility of the law firm, we're looking to add. When we kick off a project with a client, or that there's some of the questions that we ask. What badges do you have? What credentials do you have? Is there anything that's missing that we can add to really highlight those pieces of information to prospects?
Any like technical SEO things that you focus on with lawyers or law firm companies? And that's okay if not, or if it's just more general what we do. for all clients? I'm just curious, really.
So having a case results is good. Now that depends on the type of services, because for some law firms there's confidentiality where that's always applicable, or divorce cases, they're not necessarily they're not going to be case studies. So depending on the type of services that the law firm focuses on, having a case study page is really helpful, and can definitely help with the conversion rates. On the SEO side, we're looking at kind of the standard things that we're looking at across all websites, well optimized headings, title tags, and meta descriptions. The content flows well. It has the keywords, the focus keywords of that service. And so we're doing keyword research specific to the law firms, but then once we've done the research, the actual application of SEO, we follow the same standards.
Yeah, that makes sense. Awesome. Let's move into the legal tech and tools and trends part then. Going along with that then, how are new tools like Clio or AI chat or automated intakes changing how firms connect with potential clients?
Yeah, that's a great question. Our agency participated in CleoCon a few weeks ago. So I actually have some really great numbers to kind of share, which I thought were really impactful in regards to all, all new technology and just ongoing fine tuning your law firm's intake process. So, all of the tools mentioned, AI chat, automated new client intake, or using a robust CRM like Clio. These tools are fundamentally transforming how law firms attract and engage potential clients with really big results. Law firms that are adopting AI jumped from 19% in 2023 to 79% in 2024. So that's really showing us a major shift in how law firms are starting to operate and adopting this new technology. The most significant change is in responsiveness and availability. Currently, 67% of law firms don't respond to emails, and 48% are unreachable by phone, creating a massive opportunity for firms that do adopt these technologies. AI powered chatbots and automated intake systems involving these technologies, providing 24/7 engagement, are helping capture case leads even outside of business hours when many potential clients are searching for legal help. Whether it's personal injury, if someone is typing in personal injury lawyer in your city at 2 a.m. in the morning, does your law firm pop up? And the business impact is substantial. Firms that add online client intake tools see 50% more incoming potential clients and earn 50% more revenue on average. Platforms like Clio have really significantly evolved, and Clio has launched a new Clio Grow, which is their AI platform that captures all lead information up front, instantly screens for suitability, follows up automatically on outstanding items. So instead of piling a lot of the lead intake or new client intake on a busy office manager, you've automated a lot of these flows. So you really have a small margin of error. Knowing that most law firms are not responding to all of the phone calls and all of the intake form. And so, again, for attorneys that do invest in a great intake and have a great onboarding system for intaking new clients, those people are going to capture 50% more of their market.
Yeah, and we see that too on with our current clients when we're looking at their return on investment. We're gathering the numbers, how many form submits, how many phone calls, but then when we're talking with our clients, it's okay, how many have you closed? How many have you secured as clients or are in the pipeline? And with a lot of cases for law firms, it's who's the first one to answer and respond to these prospects, because oftentimes there's an urgency there and they just need to deal with the problem or the challenge, and they need someone that's going to respond, and getting that quick response is going to give them a gauge of going through the process, how quickly the response rate is going to be from that law firm. If you take 2 days to respond to a prospect, they've already moved on and they're probably signed up already with another law firm. So definitely, like Greyson said, having an integrated CRM like Clio is going to increase the chances of the closing rate. So, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like you're mentioning, these types of sales and business that they're doing is very high stakes. So people want results quickly. They need answers right away. I'm thinking personally for myself, I'm not regularly reaching out for law services or advice. So if I
Right.
were to, it's probably a serious situation where I need help immediately. That makes complete sense, as like the longer you're waiting, the more leads, ROI money you're potentially leaving on the table. And so from like a sales and conversion standpoint, I guess, and Grayson popping on this too, like what tech upgrades or things, CRMs, things like that that you were mentioning, give the biggest ROI for law firms who are trying to be that person who answers right away, be that first click or call, and maybe they don't have a workforce or a huge marketing team that um can do it, manually.
I think the one that we just mentioned, is a big one, speed to lead response times. Again, if you are a smaller firm or solo attorney, or maybe your goals next year are to hire more attorneys and expand, and you are in a very competitive market with really heavy hitters. But, as we mentioned earlier, a lot of the heavier hitters may or may not be investing in their website or digital marketing because they are established and have a great book of business and word of mouth. Their new client intake may take them a few days to get to a lead, right? Because they're established. So if you can go in and, like Lauren said, implement a lot of these kind of pain points that are known within the industry and attack that and just say, hey, we're going to have the best speed to lead response. We're going to get to everyone, within a few minutes of their intake. So really automating those things allows you to focus on what you want to focus on, which is winning cases and growing your firm. So that speed to lead response is going to be a big one. Also, like Laura mentioned, the legal CRM systems, whether it's Clio, HubSpot, MyCase, or any of those, a CRM prevents case leads from falling through the cracks and enables a systematic follow-up flow. So, the nationwide average new call to case conversion rate is 7%. So, meaning firms can literally double their revenue by improving single conversion rates without diluting the marketing even more. So, a good CRM tracks every lead interaction, automates follow ups, and scores leads by quality. So it ultimately makes sure that no prospects get forgotten. And ideally, working with an agency and being on top of a lot of the items we mentioned earlier helps you bring in the higher quality cases that you actually want.
Great. That's great. Okay, let's move more into local SEO, online reputation. When we think about the link between reviews and local visibility and credibility, especially for law firms, like what's the link there when they're competing, a lot of them competing in crowded markets, very competitive markets? Is there a link and what should they be focusing on with that?
Yeah, definitely. Well, there is, of course, a link with how their SEO performs, what their reputation looks like, how that impacts the trust that potential clients have, and what their conversion rate looks like, and how many leads that they get on a monthly basis. As we mentioned, with the fact that certain maybe more established law firms, may be very credible on paper, but digitally it doesn't transfer. You can't see that. And so when people do a search for, let's say, divorce attorney near me, they're immediately thinking that the top results are the ones that are the most trustworthy and more credible, which isn't always the case. And they just may have really good SEO. With good SEO in place, putting good content, quality content on a consistent basis, and having consistent reviews, good reviews being published on various sites, is building that up is going to impact the number of leads that they get. Of course, clients and law firms that are ranking on page one, if they rank in the 3-pack, which is the Google business profile, that's a key one. If they can get that to rank in the local 3-pack, that's going to help them drive more users to the website and convert more leads. One of the things that we're also seeing with AI searches is when the AI algorithm is putting its information together to rank law firms. One of the big things is trust. Is there good content about the lawyers on the website and other sources, bios about the lawyers there, as we mentioned earlier, their badges of credibility? Like, this is all going to be factoring in on how they rank. And one of the things that we're seeing more searches on, especially in AI search engines, is like best lawyer, best divorce lawyer in Atlanta, best will attorney in Raleigh. So they're going to get those answers by putting all this information together from a variety of sources, not just the website. So it's also thinking a broader picture of not just focusing on how does the website look? Are we putting the right content on the website and the service pages? But thinking bigger of, do we have our lawyers featured and listed on various law firm lawyer directories? Are we putting press releases out when we win a really high profile case to get more digital visibility? So it's kind of a big picture in terms of strategy that we're building with our law firm clients. That is really what helps them build the presence online, and then in turn they generate more leads.
Yeah, yeah. And often when I'm talking to attorneys, and they have been working on SEO and they feel like they have their content in place on their website. Again, as technology grows, just like the updates on our phones, when we have to update them, strategy has to shift and change as well. We're a Google partner, so we stay abreast of all algorithm changes and updates and handle them on behalf of all of our clients, of course. So, really speaking on what Lauren's saying, having a detailed attorney bios that are linked to those different attorney directories, not just having content on your website, but educational content that showcases you as legal subject matter expert of the services that you offer. And then now a lot of our clients are getting more into the video content as well, because it just overall humanizes their firm. So explainer videos or attorney introductions, just really taking a lot of what you have and taking it to the next level. Because again, people are reaching out to your firm on the worst day of their life or in a terrible situation, and showcasing yourself as subject matter expert, credibility, brand, and trust, responding right away. Those are all the recipes of success that are going to help you bring in the higher quality caseload that you're looking for.
Yeah, that's a great point, Grayson. And I kind of wanted to touch back on something that Lauren mentioned earlier. It's just a great point that everything matters online digitally. Like, it's not just about the website, like you were saying, it's more of a search everywhere optimization as we start going into the future, and all these little touch points make a difference. So they should be considering social media along with press releases, all these different things, because it's pieces of the puzzle that LLMs use to suggest you for a potential search, like best diverse attorney in Atlanta, if someone were looking at ChatGPT or something. So we touched on reviews a little bit, but maybe to get more practical, how do they go about getting reviews? What types of reviews are they looking for? And is that just for the site? Is that for Google My Business or both?
So the Google Business Profile reviews are going to be the most powerful. The Google Map Pack is still so dominant in Google searches, and it still shows up pretty high up in the search engine results. So that's key. And there's some great plugins that you can have the Google reviews specifically linked to the website. So anytime you get a new Google review, it can populate on the website. So that's a great feature that we have on a lot of our websites. And also that in itself gives more trust, because it's not just like a copy and paste text box that really anyone could put together. It's not necessarily a real review. So having them pulled directly from Google is a good feature that we recommend to a lot of our clients. To get more reviews, the main thing is just asking clients at the right time. If you're having a positive experience with a certain client, you've just given them some good news, send them the link. It's a really easy way in the Google Business Profile to copy the link. And so you can, rather than having to do their own search, sending the link directly to them. So you're making it as easy as possible for them to actually write the review. So that's key. Making sure that you respond to the reviews when you actually get them is also super important. So you're active on the profile, you're acknowledging the reviews that you get. Good, and hopefully you don't get bad ones, but if you do, responding to them is also really beneficial, because other people that go and look at the reviews. If you can demonstrate that you care, if there was a miscommunication, or call the office, that in itself helps as well. So yes, definitely reviews are super important. They definitely factor into how well you rank as well. So I know I've said this a few times, but more established, older law firms that don't push for reviews may not rank very well in the Google 3-pack because they don't have many reviews. And when you're trying to rank locally, the number of reviews is going to be one of the key indicators. So we really encourage, especially for new law firms, or if we have a law firm that's opening up a new office or a new location, the biggest initial challenge is getting more reviews to actually establish their profile in the Google business, in the map pack searches, and getting it more established in the rankings. So yes, very important.
Yeah, because that's a real signal. It's almost kind of like Reddit. People are sharing their real opinions. And so that's valuable. And it's harder to fake. People trust it more. I know that's a huge thing I look at for any services I'm going to. If there's a review, a way that you can leave a review, I'm looking at them. I want to know what kind of people I'm working with. I want to know what people are saying. So that would just stick out to me as like something that, AI would definitely factor in. Like, are you
And I
getting
will say that quite a few of the lawyers that we work with, some of their initial hesitation and worry with when we say, hey, can you try and get more reviews? Anything that we can help to get you more reviews? In some cases, depending on the service, it's, well, there's that privacy aspect, and some of our clients don't feel comfortable writing reviews or putting any details in. And, people don't have to leave details. It's just, hey, I had a great experience working with this lawyer. Most law firms work in different services. So having keywords in the reviews of, they did a really good will for me and my family here in Atlanta, having locations and keywords in the reviews is a bonus, but just getting a positive review that the lawyer was easy to work with is good enough. So
That's such a great point because, sometimes they're working with touchy subjects and
yeah.
people, right, they don't want to elaborate on everything that they had done by them, but a great point. Just be very broad. It could be generic. It doesn't have to be detailed. Right. Try to put in those keywords if you really want to go above and beyond for Google. This has been great, guys. We're going to get started kind of wrapping up here, but kind of a last thing to consider to get practical for some of these law firms. If there's like one thing that they could focus on before the new year, or people are starting to think about how they're going to update their site, what they're going to implement going into 2026. So before the year end, to build more trust, one thing they should focus on, one thing they should do, whether it's website, whether it's SEO, general outreach, tech advantages. What are your guys' thoughts on that in general? Whoever wants to kick it off.
I can go. I think depending upon where you're at and evaluating what your strengths and opportunities, we do a internal SWOT analysis every year because we want to grow, challenge ourselves, and expand. So if your speed to lead response time is not where it should be, then, maybe your goals are proactive communication systems, whether that's implementing, a legal CRM or an automated intake style, but be the first one to help that prospect, because in the World Wide Web, there are a lot of law firms, right? So for them to find and reach out to you, please make sure that you are proactive about all communication systems. But honestly, it just really depends where you're at. And I would say if you have all of those things implemented, then I would definitely work on the trust building content and social proof. Everything like Lauren has said and mentioned, content is never one and done. It's an ongoing part of positioning yourself as, subject matter expert. And Google is a business, and they want to remain the number one search engine in the world, and how they do that is by pushing more content, adding more content, being able to give people more search results every time they're utilizing that search engine. So how well is your content? Does it build trust? And do you have social proof?
Yeah, and I can kind of piggyback off that. Definitely what Grayson said, being proactive, and also like where they're at in the stage of, first of all, do you need a new website? There's no point investing in marketing without a good website, a well-performing website. So that's the first thing. Do you have a well-performing website? How old is it? Does it need a revamp? So if you feel like you've got a good website, but maybe you feel that the leads are kind of tailing off, get ahead of the game, because if you start losing rankings, it can take time. Or if you have certain goals that you want to hit in 2026 of adding additional attorneys or opening a new office, it takes time to build presence. It takes time if you're adding a new service specialty. So starting now is really going to help you get things rolling sooner rather than being late to the game where you needed the leads a month ago. It just doesn't happen overnight. We are encouraging our clients to have a mix on the marketing side, having a mix of SEO and paid advertising. Having that blend of the both is the most optimal. Paid is taking dominant position at the top of search engines, and so having presence there is really important, but also having that good content and a good organic presence too. So a good combination of both is what we recommend.
Exactly. Yeah, marrying the two because like Grayson mentioned, Google's a business, right? So they have more of an incentive to push the paid things to the top, but that doesn't mean necessarily that moving forward, organic doesn't matter. So yeah, it's keeping both in mind, blending them both well for what works for you.
Thing that I would also add is that if you are currently you have a marketing spend, you're currently spending on SEO and paid, is reevaluating whether you need to increase the budget. We are seeing that so much across the board, having to increase spending with Google in order to maximize your visibility in the search results. So if you spend $2,000 a month on paid and that was your budget 3 years ago, there's a likelihood that you're getting less share of the market, and to kind of grow with the market monthly, quarterly, you're going to have to kind of slowly increase that budget. Otherwise, if anything, you're going to see a worse performance staying at the same.
Yeah. And isn't it trending also with paid ads? Like they're becoming the price of them is going up, right? Not going
Yes.
down.
Yeah. So you really have to have a healthy budget and kind of keep reevaluating that and make sure that it kind of matches the market and your industry.
Yeah. So going along with that, building digital trust isn't just about one thing. It's not just about design, and it's not solely about huge ad budgets either. Also, although, an ad budget is important, consider increasing it as we continue in this digital age. But it's more so about credibility, clarity, and consistency across all of these different touch points like we've been talking about. So that's a huge thing to keep in mind. But this has been great. I want to just say thank you to Grayson. Thank you to Lauren for sharing their insights. And also thank you to our listeners. If you're ready to strengthen your law firm's online presence or SEO, you're curious about AI moving into the future, just head to TheeDigital.com. That's THEE digital.com to learn more about our web design, what we do for our law firm clients, our SEO strategies. We have free intakes and we can give you a look at your SEO and give you a summary of things you could change or things that you could implement to have more success in the future. Also, don't forget to subscribe for more episodes on web design, marketing, digital growth, do all different types of subjects. We're focusing on law this time, but that's just one of our clients that we work a lot with. So let us know in the comments if there's anything else you're looking for. And thank you again. This has been the Digital's Growthcast. Bye. Thanks, guys.
Bye.